At Pasha's picnic, we flew on a rug. We sat in a circle and closed our eyes. When we did the loop-de-loop, Pasha laughed until he cried. Poor Pasha. Walls tumble, fortunes crumble, things fall apart. But I still hear Pasha laugh through his tears. May this day last 10,000 years. Oh, and what a day it was. Rainer Werner Fassbinder, Dorian Gray in San Francisco. And after that last dance number in the alley, Marlowe had seen Sinatra fly off on his own carpet. Cum grano salis. He thought of the spirit that was Smarty, and although he'd had his doubts, his faith remained intact. Smarty did what was needed. Everyone got paid, the show went on, he was the necessary man, the future's answer to Diaghilev. Was it art? That was not for Marlowe to say. Was it smitten? Absolutely. And, as Lester might have said, well played, sir, well played. PFM. The end at the beginning at the end. Around and around the story goes. We want what we want until we don't want. And then we want more. All the while, the rivers run to the sea, and the rivers run back again. From 10,000 Years in the Road by Bunny and Bester. They'd seen it all and done it all, and as far as they were concerned, they hadn't scratched the surface of their ambitions and aspirations. Said surrealist poet André Breton in his book Mad Love, all my life, in my heart, I have yearned for a place I could not name. At the ancient temple of love, they knew not what it was named, and named it not. Marlowe had glimpsed it in a dream, a red dirt floor and an open sky, men and women barefoot, holding hands in a single-line dance, slithering like a snake to some exotic flute. It was ecstatic, transcendent, sensual, even erotic, and Marlowe had felt at home. They danced in front of a wobbly mirror and stretched their arms 10 feet wide. Let us fly, let us fly. Go beautiful, go deep, go mad. Marlowe had been through the looking glass and had returned to tell the tale. Was it something or nothing? To think nothing was deflating. To think something was delusional. The artist's dilemma. Our dreams are personal myths. Myths are impersonal dreams. The secret of art, said Art Smitten, is to keep a straight face, with the corollary that you can't keep a straight face until you can. Marlowe was exhausted, frayed, beat. But what more could he want but to continue to have appetite for art? Vitality is all. He'd complained, doubted, lost faith along the way. Sometimes he felt ridiculous, but he hungered for more. Just to get a little better, that was everything. Said Art Smitten, sometimes you have to be alone in art. Sometimes there was no one to clap. It could all be rubbish. And on the other hand, thought Marlowe, if he was to sign a Smitten, would anyone be any the wiser? Smitten vision. How could he explain it? What would it look like? Could he build some version? And if not him, who else? Marlowe looked at his hands. They were covered with paint, all the magic rugs he'd painted. Come fly with me. In his pockets were jottings he'd scribbled about Love Token Alley. Ghosts linger, and the stories we tell ourselves guard against the abyss. Such a haunted beauty. How we love our strange Babylon. A flash of cameras, iris in, iris out. Was it all a movie inside of a movie? A party inside of a party? A riddle inside of a mystery inside of a sphinx? And had he spied Fellini on the cliff edge in a director's chair? Or was that just fanciful imagining. Marlowe remembered waving goodbye to Bill, and the sunset getting brighter and brighter. And when he could focus again, he was even more astounded to find himself in Art Smitten's studio, surrounded by his staff in neat, monogrammed Art Smitten shirts. They were looking to him for how to proceed. Whoa, he thinks, what a trip. But Marlowe discovers he's not intimidated by the situation. To his amazement, he realizes he can keep a straight face. He'd seen what he'd seen, and he was back with the goodies. The straight face felt good. He had a job at hand, how to get others to see what he'd seen. This would be his most difficult task yet, but he was ready. Full speed ahead. What had he learned? Look back to look forward, the past, present, and future live at once. In art we stand on the shoulders of giants. Imagination is a survival skill. Marlowe, with an air of confidence, looked at the Smitten staff and said, "Love, uh-huh." And then he muttered something about the future not yet being written, and then he told them to drop questions in one bowl, and he'd drop answers in another. Take one, leave one, mix and match. Marlowe clapped his hands. They were off. A start, he thought. And you might ask, what happened to Smarty? Was he ever coming back? Marlowe didn't know. He'd have to wait like everyone else. That's why they call it Season 3. Epilogue. From Marlowe's painting journals. My son had a dream. Sun Valley, Idaho. He was with Harold and Homer in the mountains. Summer. Harold was a Dalmatian, a naughty, sweet dog I could hear laugh. He could run, those ears flapping behind. Laughing dog, his tail cut off after being hit by a car when young. Homer was a Griffon Nivernois. Sounds fancy, but he was just a big terrier. Timid and had a lot of quirks. He disappeared and lived with another family for 2 years before reappearing again. My son says, "You came across a cave in the woods. You decided it would be cool to paint the cave. You did your thing with colors and words and didn't notice the bears. Or if you did, you didn't think much about them and kept painting. Suddenly in the dream, you're gone. I have to come and find you, and I find pieces of Homer and Harold and you scattered in the woods. I say, are you sure it was me? It was you, says my son. The bears got you all. How was the art? I asked. It was good. So I finished? Yeah, your last monument. What does it mean? I asked my son. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? My son did not know. But the cave looked good, I asked again, seeking reassurance. At Pasha's picnic, we danced the dance of the little bells. Tohu wa bohu, the universe formless and void. And then, ding, 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 ting, ting, ting. And we're spinning, spinning, spinning forever in a dance of love. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. But still we danced. We were magnificent.